So, in November or October of last year, I'm a little bit late to the party on this, I basically said I was going to do a Q&A, and there's Amber. Bamba! She's just mooching. And you lot asked me a load of questions, and I screenshotted them, put them in a folder. Don't knock the tripod. Come on. And yeah, I'm just getting around to doing it, but whatever it is, I will do it. It may take me a while, but I will always do things. So that's basically what we're doing today. We are answering these Q&A questions that are like 4 months old. But slow and steady wins the race. So, Fran asks, how do you feel about the reclassification of Pluto in 2016? To be fair, it was very disappointing. You know, if you went to school in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you were taught that Pluto was a planet. We can't even use our mnemonics anymore. Many vile airflings munch jam sandwiches under newspaper piles. There's no piles anymore because there's no Pluto? It's not fair. Well, it's a dwarf planet. It's still a planet. It's not like it's like a satellite or a star masquerading as a planet. Aw. Poor Pluto. I know how you feel. Tally Gunge asks, Gunge tank or gunk dunk? Depends on the context. I've been in a Gunge tank, it was lots of fun. I wouldn't mind going in one again. Now gunk dunk, if you are referring to the one specifically from Get Your Own Back, I have very mixed feelings about this. Yes, it was a vast amount of gunge and it was amusing, but it was xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is terrible as a gunge. It does not stick to you, it's too thin, it's a pain in the ass to mix. So personally, I'd rather have one bucket of decent gunge than a whole thing of shit gunge. So, but if you could get a fairly decent amount of decent gunge, I'd have a go in that. I may be doing that later in the year. Spoilers. Mike asks me, what was the best day in your life? Onyx! Onyx is meowing. The best day in my life? It was either the day I proposed to Shelley and she accepted it. What? Onyx! Or, sorry Mike, Onyx is interrupting us. Or the day I graduated, because that was quite fun. Because there's like a major holier than thou sense of walking around Middlesbrough town centre with your gown and your mortarboard on, and everyone's sort of like looking at you as if you are like a supreme being, and then when you have to take it off at the end of the day and give it back to the rental company, like, where's it gone? It just left. I am not whole. I am not whole anymore. Ah! But yeah, I quite like that. So either graduating or when Shelley agreed to my proposal. Question from Shelley. I didn't even realise that was in this folder. What game would you choose to play for the rest of your life? Oh, Jesus. See, you'd be tempted to pick like your favourite game, so FF7, but if it was for the rest of your life, it would want to be something that you wouldn't get bored of, something that you could just keep on playing, and it wouldn't lose anything. Am I allowed to use mods? Because if I can use mods, I would pick Skyrim, because you can pretty much turn Skyrim into anything you like with mods. You can make the game like 50 times bigger than Bethesda intended it to be. I have played so much modded Skyrim, it is beyond a joke how much I've actually played of it. And I'd say only about 10% of it is the stuff Bethesda actually wanted me to play. Fran, again, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is cats. Plain and simple. That is the meaning of life. Cats. Yeah, how much wood? There is actually an answer to this. It's like, it's something stupid like 31 cubic centimeters. Someone has actually answered it. So yeah, Google will answer that for you. I can't remember the exact number. She just wanted me to bloody read that out, and I'm deliberately disappointing her by not doing so. Alright, this is a tweet, so we have to read it backwards. 5 people are working on a rail track. They have ear protection in, so can't hear anything, and are generally unaware of a runaway train. The only way you can save them is pulling a lever, which will send the train down another track, killing one person. Fran, what the fuck is with all these like really deep questions? Really? What are you trying to do to me? Well, logically, you would send it down and save 5 lives as opposed to 1, but you don't know. The 5 people working on a rail track might be like mass murderers, and they've been put there by the prisons, or they could be like descendants of Hitler or something. It depends on who they are. The one person you save might be like the new Jesus or something. If the one person down the other end was someone that I liked, like, I don't know, Shelley for instance, I would totally kill 5 people to save her. Fran, piss off with your fucking deep questions. I'm too tired right now for this. I am in no mood for deep intellectual discussion. I just want to talk about cats. Cats and games and tits and hamburgers. How do you do the Cat Chaos voice, and why did you eat 34-year-old bubblegum? Well, I ate 34-year-old bubblegum because I was making a video for the internet, and that is what the internet craves. If I hadn't eaten it, I would have asked people asking why didn't you eat it. Yeah. I'd seen Ashens eat some very old bubblegum, and I thought, I'm gonna see how bad it is. And the fact I like to dare myself to do stupid shit. And I think that inclination has got far worse since I started making YouTube videos, because now I can entertain people by daring myself to do stupid shit. And the other question, how do you do Cat Chaos's voice? You talk through your throat. Like this. Hello, Mike. This is how you do Cat Chaos's voice. You talk through your throat so all of your air in your throat is here. It's a bit like death metal, but not quite. I can totally go from one to the other, really. The only problem with it is you get a load of spit in your mouth. And if you do it for too long, it totally makes your vocal cords hurt too much. I am Cat Chaos, master of all I survey. Of course, having the mask on helps as well, because you've got the acoustics of the mask. It is completely different when I'm not wearing it. He's not as muffled, shall we say. I should have brought the mask down with me to prove it, but it's upstairs, and I can't be asked going to get it. Hey, at least I'm honest. What kind of books do I like? It's a very, well, basically I don't like any, how to say, I don't really like anything that's popular, if that makes sense. I can't stand things like, you know, Twilight and all that sort of thing. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, but I don't like the way J.K. Rowling writes. They are fine as films, they are fine as games, the plots are relatively decent, I just don't like the way she writes. I do like the games though, the subject matter is absolutely perfect for games. My favourite book is The Curious Incident and the Dog in the Nighttime, about Christopher Boone, I was going to say the autistic boy, but it's never actually been confirmed if he is or not. But yeah, he's mentally disabled, and it's basically written from the perspective of how he sees the world. It's very interesting. I also like Room, which is the story of the mum and the little boy locked in a garden shed, based on the Joseph Fritzl case. I like Stephen King. I grew up reading Jacqueline Wilson. I still enjoy her books from time to time. They're a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. And I like a fair few classic books as well. I like To Kill a Mockingbird, Alice in Wonderland, Secret Garden, old stuff like that. I'm very picky though when it comes to books, to be fair. I'll either read it and never ever touch it again, or I'll read it about 50 times. What are some of your cats' favourite games, or games they simply respond to? Interesting. I have been playing Skyrim, running around as a werewolf, and had Jet and Onyx attacking the screen. They will attack anything that involves a mouse cursor, or anything that's overly like flashy or flipping around a lot. I was playing Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. What's the Wii U pad even called? I'm totally having a brain fart here. On the controller pad. Pearl she was only a kitten at the time. She was just sat on my shoulder for about 4 hours watching me play, but I reckon that was because she liked the colours. And I like things like Octodad Cat Lateral Damage, all these things that are like bright cell shaded, and they will sit and just watch them for hours. What was the most influential game you've ever played? Brackets story. One you love for the soundtrack, one you love for just plain fun. Well, obviously the first question I'm going to say Final Fantasy VII because I'm massively biased. One you love for the soundtrack, again I could say Final Fantasy VII because I'm massively biased. And Sonic Adventure 2 has a very good soundtrack. It's one of few games where I like pretty much every piece of music that's in there. I could like get the soundtracks for loads of games and end up skipping half of them because I'd only want it for like 1 or 2 songs. But Sonic Adventure 2, I could totally listen to the whole soundtrack all the time. One you love for just plain fun, anything that's kind of mindless, Viscera Cleanup, Detail, Cat Lateral Damage, Rock Band. I really like Rock Band, I play that quite a lot. I'm actually wearing a Rock Band t-shirt, which was kind of unintentional, but there you go. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Come, we shall have some fun now, thought Alice. I'm glad they've begun asking riddles. I believe I can guess that. Yes, I can more or less recite the whole of Alice in Wonderland. It is an incredibly useless talent. But it's basically just because I've listened to the audiobook to death. You can read out pretty much any sentence from that book and I can continue it. Pretty much. I don't think I've ever admitted that before. But now you know that, you're gonna keep quoting it at me, aren't you? And expecting me to finish it. Better turn off my Twitter notifications. What's the cutest type of big cat? The cutest type has got to be an ocelot. Because they are big cats, but they have the faces of domestic cats. They're so cute and smooshy. But pretty much all big cats are nice. I like them all. I like tigers, I like lions, panthers, cheetahs. I especially like it when you go on YouTube and you can find videos of big cats acting like domestic cats. Like there was one before, a zoo, where they put massive cardboard boxes in the enclosure and the tigers were just getting inside them like a domestic house cat would. Also quite funny is the fact that big cats do poos just like domestic cats do. They like sit on the back legs and squat down and they do poos exactly like domestic cats do. Only I would find that sort of thing cute. Have you played any trading card games before? Only Pokemon. And I only really played with like the Kanto lot. The first lot from like 1996, 7 onwards. So base set Jungle, Fossil, Team Rocket, base set 2 type thing. And yes, I did learn how to play it by playing Pokemon Play It, so you know, Julie was good for something. Favourite game character, why are you so cool? Oh. Favourite game, Final Fantasy VII. How many times are we going to mention that? Alright, here's a new idea. Every time I mention Final Fantasy VII, take a shot. And if you don't drink, eat a biscuit. I know. It is one that everyone can enjoy. It's not a drinking game. It is a cracker game. Every time I mention Final Fantasy VII, eat a dry cracker. And see how long it is before you like choke or die of dehydration. So yeah, my answer is Final Fantasy VII. Biscuits. Favourite game character? Probably Princess Peach. As odd as that is to hear coming from my mouth. I love Princess Peach. I have a soft spot for her. She's an absolute babe. Why am I so cool? I wouldn't say I was cool. I'm a massive geek. Well, no, I'd say I'm more of a nerd than a geek, but either or, I'm not exactly cool. I mean, I deliberately go out of my way when buying new glasses to look for these ones with the massive thick frames. I mean, yeah, they were in fashion once over, but they're not now. They're getting harder and harder to find. And I'm like, there's another woman in the opticians, but I like them with thick frames. And they're like, yeah, but you'd like these ones. No, I want the ones with thick frames. Yeah, I don't think I'm cool, but if you think I am, cheers, I suppose. Oh, Fran again. Jesus, Fran. Would you abolish DST? What the fuck is DST? I don't even know what that is. Am I going to have to Google it? Onyx! Come here then. Why is it every time I start recording he feels the need to start whinging? Come here then. Come on. Come on. Oh, my boy. My boy. Onyx, would you abolish DST? Do you know what it is? Because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is either. Move your ass. Move it. If you ever want rid of a cat, blow on their ass. They don't like it. It's harmless and it's amusing, but it makes them move. Would I abolish the penny? It's hard to say because Canada abolished the penny and yet they still charge like $9.99, $19.99 for things, and you still have to pay that penny. You just don't get the fucker back in your change. So I'm not sure if I would. And besides, if you don't have any pennies or tuppences, twopences, what the fuck are you going to use for scratch cards? Should children be taught UTC? Right, that's it, friend. I'm going to have to go on fucking Google and find out what these bloody things are that you're asking me. What is DST? Oh, daylight savings time. Well, I don't know if I'd abolish that. I assume it serves some function. UTC. I'm gonna like proper kick myself when I find out what this is. UTC. Coordinated Universal Time. Fran, why are all your questions about fucking time? What the fuck, Fran? Have you got some sort of like clock fetish? Oh, do you mean like should American people run on the 24-hour clock? Yeah, of course they should. But to be fair, none of us ever say, oh, it's 16 o'clock. If it's 4 in the afternoon, we will just say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You seldom have to say it in the afternoon because you're never going to be talking about 4 in the morning. You'd be more likely to say 4 in the morning to differentiate from 4 in the afternoon. The only difference would be 8, so you'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. But yeah. Because I have spoken to some Americans and they've been like, what time is it over there? And I've said it in the 24-hour. And they're like, I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I'm not explaining this. Right, I'm going to have to fucking Google this one as well. Do you support ISO 8601? ISO 8601. For fuck's sake, Fran, this is now about dates. Seriously, Fran, did you have no idea of like what to ask me and you just like looked at your fucking clock or something? Data elements and interchange formats, information, representations. Oh, fucking hell, I know what you mean. You mean, should America stop saying, instead of saying the 23rd of January 1990, they say January the 23rd, 1990. Yes, yes they should, because it's confusing as hell, and it's very annoying. And it's especially difficult to work out when it's actually a small number that could be a date, it could be a day, or a month, basically anything 1 to 12. So yeah, I do actually support that. And do I vote? Of course I vote. Why wouldn't I vote, especially being a woman? I'm very grateful for the things the suffragettes did for us. They chained themselves to railings and fought for the right for women to have a vote, so I'm not going to throw it away. People think your vote really doesn't make any difference, but hey, I voted for our local Labour MP and she got in and she follows me on Twitter and I have no idea why, but I followed her back and I retweet her occasionally because she's an absolute babe. I've met her actually, she's nice. Not many people say that their local MP is actually nice, but ours is. And if you're wondering who she is, her name's Anna Turley. Okay, another one from Zai. Or Z? Is it Zai? Or is it Z? Oh god, I don't know. It's one of them. I'm going to say Zai because it sounds more natural, flowing. What was your favourite childhood game? Probably Spyro. Looking back on it, I would have initially said Crash, but the one I played more was definitely Spyro. Because Crash, especially Crash 1, Jesus. It was far too hard for me as a kid. It's still too bloody hard for me now. Favourite console overall, you mean the one I've played on the most, would probably be either the GameCube or the Xbox 360. I'm going to say GameCube. Do I like JRPGs? It depends what it is. I like Final Fantasy VII. I like Earthbound. But at the same time, there's a lot that just don't interest me whatsoever. But the same could be said for Western RPGs. I'm not interested in quite a lot of them. My favourite non-video games, board or card, that would be Carcassonne. I really like Carcassonne. It's one thing that Shelley and I play at the weekends. I've got the big box and a load of expansions and it's slowly taking over my house. Dream car, one that drives itself because I can't drive and I have no interest in learning how to. Not so much that I don't have interest, but I'm just too scared to. For some reason, when we were at college, they thought it was a good idea to bring us all into the fucking auditorium and play graphic footage of car crashes. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with that, but I think it put quite a lot of us off learning to drive. Favourite Mega Drive game? Cosmic Spacehead. It's amazing! What is your all-time favourite memory in life, one you'll never forget? I could go back to the best day of my life thing and say either when Shelley accepted my proposal or when I graduated. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. What is your favourite type of video to make? Now you're bloody asking me. Well, there's none that I don't enjoy making, because if I didn't enjoy making them, I wouldn't make them. Obviously, I enjoy making grunge videos because they're a lot of fun. They're a bit of a pain in the ass to edit. Countdowns are fun, but then you've got the writing, the filming, the putting together, same with reviews. Unboxings are really fun. They are fun because I get to do things with my hands and faff on and play with toys. And they also don't really require a lot of editing. So I'm going to say unboxings for that one. What is your favourite grunge type and colour? Well, I like anything thick, I suppose. I like Natrosol, I like HEC. I don't like methyl cellulose. Jesus. Because I made that up and it just got like, there was just big clumps of it stuck in my hair and it would not come out, and we had to let it dry and then comb the fucker out, and yeah, it ripped half my hair out, so I'm not using that again. Colour, I'm not bothered as long as it's relatively opaque. I quite like black and I like red, but they're like my favourite colours, so we'll say black and red. Green's overrated. It totally is. What type of camera do you film most of your videos with? Up until recently I've just been using like this NAF thing, but I've just got this new one and it's lovely. I'm not sure what you'd actually class it as, but it's like a, well, it's a digital camera with a massive lens on it. I'm no good with this sort of thing. I just search in the specs, does it take an SD card, has it got a rechargeable battery, and what's the quality of videos it can record at, and this one was like, I can do full HD, and I was like, I'll have you. Dr. Game & Science, have you played Rayman games? I actually haven't. Maybe I should. Maybe that's something I should get onto one day. Do you prefer 1 to 3 or the Origins of Legend games? Again, haven't played Rayman. These are all questions about friggin' Rayman, aren't they? Your opinion on both versions of... what? Have I played Tonic Trouble? No. I'm gonna have to, once I finish this, I'm gonna have to do some serious Googling, aren't I? Your cover art to your blog, Twitter page, YouTube page, etc. shows a pile of green Xbox 360 boxes and one blue one. Is that blue one Viva Pinata? Well, you'd have to ask Ash, because Ash took creative license with it. I basically outlined what I want. It was like, I want me on the sofa with Jet and Ruby, rest in peace Ruby, with pop and crisps and a pizza, and in the background I want like a load of games and crap to show that I've just been sitting around doing stuff. And she said, alright. And she come back with that. So it could be Viva Pinata, or it could be a Wii U game. Who knows? You'd have to ask Ash. It can be whatever you want it to be. What games do you love to play even when they're considered rubbish? Naughty Bear. Oh my god, Naughty Bear. It is so good. It got critically panned because it's repetitive, but it's also mindlessly hilarious and very addictive. It's glitchy as well, but it's funny. It's a sort of glitchy funny, like Skyrim for instance. You go around murdering teddy bears. What's not to like about that? Do you like or play DOS games and or Amiga games? I have never played either, actually. Again, maybe something I should invest in. How much would an Amiga be? I've never really played on any of the old sort of computer consoles, except I've had to go on a Commodore 64. And I have played on, actually, yeah, I played on my brother's old Amiga, the ones that took cassettes. We used to play Crack Up. Is that an Amiga? What games you played would you say were really funny? Unintentionally funny or actually funny? Unintentionally funny would be something like Resident Evil 4, because that's just really funny, even though it's not supposed to be. Anything with dodgy physics like Octodad or Viscera Cleanup Details, quite funny. But ones that are intentionally funny, of course, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm going to be a cop-out and say that. Earthbound's quite funny as well. What game in your collection is your guilty pleasure, i.e. one I shouldn't really be playing because it's bad, do you mean? A guilty pleasure, I suppose. Well, I shouldn't really be playing Viva Pinata because it's like a kid's game, but I do enjoy the odd bout of Viva Pinata. I can answer both of those in one go. What was the first video game that made you feel choked up, emotional and teary, and had the strongest tearjerker moment? Eris dies at the end of disc 1. I mentioned Final Fantasy VII again, indirectly, but I still mentioned it. Eat that biscuit. The first game you beat on the hardest difficulty? Ooh, bloody hell, now you're asking. The one I can really remember that stands out to me is Bioshock, that I went out of my way to play it on hard. Resident Evil, perhaps, because I did play that on hard. Kind of fuck complete Resident Evil 3 on hard. Jesus, Nemesis is an absolute bitch. Favourite game to play co-op? I quite like to play this for clean-up co-op. Rock Band, I like to play that in band mode. Castle Crashers is quite fun in a group. Minecraft, of course, but don't play it 4-player, Jesus, because you've got like this tiny little corner of the screen and you're just like, what am I doing? I can't even see what I'm doing. What are some classic games that left an impression on you and you always revisit every so often? Do you want to get them crackers out again? What classics you haven't played but want to? There's a lot of things on the SNES and the NES I haven't really tried. I haven't played the original Metroid, for instance. I've obviously played the original Mario Brothers and Zelda, but I haven't really played any of the old Metroid games, and there's probably a lot of things on the SNES I'm missing out on. I've played Link to the Past, I've played Donkey Kong Country, Plock. That's fun to say, isn't it? Plock. But yeah, there's probably a lot of things on the NES and the SNES that I've sort of gone by the wayside, because in the 90s I sort of went with the Mega Drive and everything else was completely irrelevant. I was Mega Drive and PS1, so yeah, I didn't really focus on Nintendo until I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I had some money and bought a SNES and a NES off eBay. What's your favourite Monty Python movie? Haven't seen them. Haven't seen any of them, and that's probably considered blasphemy, and I'm now going to get kicked out of the country. Huh, something new I've just learnt about this camera. The maximum size of a video you can record is 30 minutes. I just noticed it ticked over to seconds again. I thought, shit, it better not be recording over itself, but it wasn't. Hello, Jet. Have you come to me in the video? Ah, who's my handsome fella? Who's the man of my dreams? Who's my dreamboat? Yes, you are, my handsome fella. Before Onyx was born, Jet was the only man in my life. And Jet's still the man of the house, because he's older and he's bigger. And he's just always gonna be. Go on then, settle down. Settle down. If you go in there, go there. Get under that blanket. Go on, sit. Sit. What's the best starter Pokemon in each generation? Best is a subjective term, Fran. If you're gonna go on like stats, or which one I actually picked, it's you know, we'll answer with the ones I actually picked. Jet, don't stand on the table. You're too heavy. Best starter Pokemon, right? First one, obviously, I picked Charmander because like everybody did. But the best in terms of stats is probably Squirtle. Second one, obviously Cyndaquil. Third one, fucking Torch. And then I deviated a little bit in the 4th generation and I picked Piplup. And then I stopped playing Pokemon because Jet's wobbling the tripod. I stopped playing Pokemon because I got completely fucking sick of it. How would I vote in each Splatfest? It depends on what the options were, but then I've never played Splatoon and I don't know if I want to because I don't like online multiplayer shooting games. Can only be honest. Do you and Shelly have a date set? No, because we haven't got any friggin' money. That's the date, when we get some friggin' money. What's your favourite game series? I'm gonna have to pick one that I have consistently liked every single game from the series, WarioWare. friggin' love WarioWare. It's absolutely amazing. Haven't I already answered this one? What's your favourite colour of grunge? Anything that's opaque. Not green because it's overrated. So red or black. Where in the world would you most like to go? Germany. I would like to go to Germany. I would like to visit one of those Christmas markets because they look like lots of fun. There's lots of German food that I'd like to try. I mean, I've tried like Riddles equivalent, but that's probably not as authentic as you want it to be. A video game you love that everyone hates, and a video game you hate that everyone loves. Well, I mentioned I like Naughty Bear. That got really bad reviews. I'm trying to think of one that people really hate and I actually like, and I can't really think of one. No, off the top of my head I can't. But conversely, a video game that I hate that everyone loves, Half-Life. Cannot stand it, I cannot get into it, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because it's old and it's clunky and I'm used to more like smooth ones, smooth FPSs, but oh god no, that cannot be doing with Half-Life. Don't like Team Fortress 2 either, on the topic of Valve. Not a big fan of Gears of War, that's massively overrated as well. And that appears to be the last one in the folder. We've gone through everything. We've gone through everything in the folder, Jet. I now realise I'm talking to Jet and you can't actually see him. There he is. We've done everything in the folder, haven't we, Jet? Do you want to look at the camera? The camera that's over here. Look. Look over here. There he is. Here's my fella. So yeah, I'll probably do another Q&A in like... Well, I'll probably announce I'm doing one in about 6 to 8 months' time. And then actually get around to filming the fucking thing about 6 or 8 months after I've announced it.